love the Eagles as much as we do? Then hit that subscribe button and stick with us at Eagles Nest News for all the drama, updates, and hype all season long. Rumors are swirling around the Philadelphia Eagles, and this time the noise is not about Jalen Hurts or the defense. It's about star tight and Dallas Goedert. According to whispers coming out of the locker room, head coach Nick Sirianni has privately told members of the front office that he doesn't want Goedert on the roster anymore. The tension reportedly began brewing earlier this season, after a heated exchange between player and coach during a practice session that several players described as uncomfortable. Sirianni, known for his fiery personality and demanding standards, apparently feels that Goedert hasn't been fully bought into the system. Some say the issue isn't just performance-based, but also personal, a clash of egos that's been simmering under the surface for weeks. It's shocking, considering Goedert has been one of the Eagles' most consistent offensive weapons, but behind closed doors, things might be unraveling fast. Players have noticed the lack of chemistry between the coach and tight end, with some even claiming that their working relationship is beyond repair. If true, this could be one of the most surprising internal shakeups for the Eagles in recent years, especially as they push deeper into the season with playoff hopes on the line. Insiders close to the team claim that Sirianni's frustration with Goedert stems from a combination of attitude issues and what he perceives as a lack of effort in critical moments. There are reports that during film review sessions, Sirianni has openly called out Goedert's blocking decisions and route execution, something that didn't sit well with the veteran. The two have allegedly had multiple tense conversations behind closed doors, and while the public face of the organization remains calm, the atmosphere inside the facility has been anything but. Teammates are reportedly divided, some backing Sirianni's demand for discipline and others standing firmly behind Goedert, who's known as a locker room favorite. One player, speaking anonymously, said the team feels weird lately and that everyone senses something's about to go down. Whether it's a benching, a trade request, or a front office decision to intervene, the situation is delicate. Sirianni is a coach who values unity and intensity, and if he feels a player is disrupting that energy, he's not afraid to make bold moves, no matter how valuable that player might be to the team's on-field success. What's even more intriguing is how the front office has responded to these internal rumblings. General Manager Howie Roseman, known for his strategic and sometimes ruthless approach to roster management, is said to be monitoring the tension closely. While trading Goedert would be a massive move, both financially and emotionally for fans, Roseman has never shied away from shocking decisions if it benefits the long-term vision. The Eagles' offensive scheme relies heavily on tight end versatility, so losing Goedert would leave a huge hole. Still, if the relationship between coach and player has truly deteriorated, Roseman might see no other choice but to explore trade options, possibly before the offseason. Some analysts believe Sirianni's outburst could be a calculated message, a way to assert control over the locker room and remind players that no one is untouchable. Others think it's a misstep, a sign of growing pressure on the head coach as expectations soar. Either way, the whispers are growing louder, and fans are beginning to sense that something seismic could happen in Philadelphia sooner than anyone expected. Behind the scenes, several assistant coaches are reportedly trying to mediate the situation, hoping to calm tempers before it escalates further. Offensive coordinator Kellen Moore is said to have held one-on-one meetings with both Sirianni and Goedert, emphasizing communication and professionalism. However, sources indicate that those talks didn't yield much progress. Goedert, visibly frustrated with his reduced role in recent weeks, feels he's not being used to his full potential. He's been vocal about wanting more involvement in the passing game, particularly in red zone situations, where he's traditionally been a lethal target. Sirianni, on the other hand, seems more focused on spreading the ball and emphasizing balance, prioritizing the system over individual stats. This philosophical clash is becoming increasingly evident, with Goedert's body language on the sidelines drawing attention from cameras and fans alike. Some say the two barely speak during practices now, communicating mostly through assistants. It's a troubling sign for a team that prides itself on unity and collective purpose. For many fans, It's hard to believe that such tension could exist between two key figures in an offense that's supposed to be firing on all cylinders. The media in Philadelphia, always quick to jump on controversy, has started sniffing around this story, adding even more pressure to the situation. Beat reporters have noted subtle but telling moments during press conferences, like Sirianni's curt answers when asked about Goddard's involvement, or the tight end's diplomatic but distant comments about focusing on what I can control. It feels like a slow-motion fracture, the kind of tension that builds quietly before erupting into a full-blown scandal. Talk shows are already buzzing with speculation. Is Goddard being pushed out, or is Sirianni just sending a message? Fans are divided, with some defending the coach's tough love approach and others insisting that alienating one of your best offensive players is a huge mistake. It's the kind of storyline that could easily define the rest of the Eagles' season. Either they pull together and overcome the drama, or the discord becomes the crack that breaks their championship hopes. One thing's for sure. Everyone's watching closely, waiting for the next sign of fallout in what's quickly becoming Philadelphia's most talked-about locker room rift. If this situation continues to spiral, the Eagles could be facing much more than just a personality clash. It could turn into a full-blown organizational dilemma. Sirianni has built his coaching identity around energy, accountability, and chemistry, so having a rift with a star player threatens that entire foundation. Players are reportedly walking on eggshells, careful about what they say in front of either party. The tension has even started to impact practice dynamics, with some drills feeling awkwardly quiet when Goddard is involved. There's a growing fear that if the coaching staff and player can't reconcile soon, the rest of the locker room could start taking sides, fracturing team unity just when they need it most. For a team with championship ambitions, this is dangerous territory. Some insiders believe that if the Eagles drop a few more games, this issue could explode publicly, forcing the front office to make a hard choice. Either back the coach completely or risk losing control of the team environment. For now, all anyone can do is speculate, but the whispers keep growing louder, and the storm in Philadelphia seems to be only just beginning. As the whispers turn into murmurs, more details are starting to emerge about the strained dynamic between Nick Sirianni and Dallas Goedert. People close to the team describe the relationship as beyond repair, with both sides now unwilling to back down. Sirianni, who has never shied away from confrontation, reportedly told Confidence that he's done dealing with the drama and that it's time to move forward without distractions. Those are strong words for a coach talking about one of his key offensive weapons. Meanwhile, Goddard's camp feels disrespected, believing he's being scapegoated for issues that extend far beyond him. They argue that the offensive inconsistency has more to do with play calling than player performance. Still, perception is everything in the NFL, and right now, the narrative forming around Goddard is one of dissatisfaction and distance. If this story keeps developing, it could affect his trade value and future in the league. Some rival teams are reportedly monitoring the situation closely, sensing that if things don't improve soon, Goddard could become available. And that might be a dream opportunity for a team needing a veteran tight end with his skill set and experience. Within the Eagles' locker room, the atmosphere has grown tense but oddly quiet. Players are avoiding public comments, sticking to team-approved talking points whenever the subject comes up. But behind closed doors, there's plenty of discussion. Several veterans have tried to step in and mediate, reminding both parties that the ultimate goal is winning games, not personal pride. Yet, even their influence seems limited this time. The emotional distance between Sirianni and Goddard is palpable, and it's starting to ripple through the offense. Some players worry that the drama might distract from preparation, while others think the team's culture is strong enough to absorb the hit. One thing's certain, when players start to sense leadership friction, it can subtly erode trust. That's what makes this situation so precarious. The Eagles are still one of the NFC's top contenders, but chemistry is often the invisible force that separates good teams from great ones. If this tension lingers, even the most talented roster can crumble under its own weight, leaving fans wondering what could have been if egos hadn't gotten in the way. Adding another twist to the saga, Reports indicate that Sirianni has already discussed potential replacements or adjustments to the offensive scheme in the event that Goddard leaves. That's a significant development, signaling that the coach is not just frustrated. He's preparing for life without his star tight end. The Eagles have some promising young talents, but none with Goddard's combination of experience, size, and chemistry with Jalen Hurts. Replacing the production won't be easy, and Sirianni knows it. Still, his insistence on discipline and alignment with his philosophy might outweigh the short-term loss. For Sirianni, maintaining control of the locker room is non-negotiable. Once a player challenges that authority, especially publicly or through passive resistance, he sees it as a threat to the entire system. Whether that's the right call or not depends on your perspective. Some analysts praise Sirianni's willingness to make hard choices. Others think he's letting pride override pragmatism. Either way, the situation paints a vivid picture of the emotional power struggles that often happen beneath the surface of professional football teams. Stories we only glimpse when cracks finally show. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The fan base, as always, has turned the rumor into a full-blown debate. Social media is flooded with divided opinions. Some are calling Sirianni's alleged decision to move on from Goddard a betrayal, while others applaud his firmness. Hashtags like #FreeGoddard and #TrustSirianni are trending in Philadelphia, showing just how passionate the discussion has become. Talk radio hosts are feeding the frenzy, questioning whether this tension has been building longer than anyone realized. Some even speculate that the seeds were planted last season, when Goddard voiced mild frustration about his role after key games. Now, those old comments are being re-examined under a harsher light. For the fans, it's an emotional tug-of-war. Do you back the coach who's delivered success, or the player who's been a cornerstone of the offense? The Eagles' identity has always been built on grit and unity, and watching two central figures clash feels like watching cracks appear in that foundation. No matter how it ends, this saga is reminding everyone that behind the game day highlights, NFL teams are fragile ecosystems held together by trust, and right now, that trust seems to be slipping. Inside the organization, damage control has become the priority. The Eagles' public relations team has been working overtime to downplay the story, emphasizing focus on football in every press release and interview. Yet, the more they try to suppress it, the more the speculation grows. Everyone's waiting for someone to slip up, for Sirianni to say one word too many, or for Goddard to post something cryptic online. It's a media powder keg, and the organization knows it. Quietly, team executives have started having meetings to evaluate the potential fallout. Would trading Goddard hurt morale? Would keeping him undermine Sirianni's authority? These are not easy questions to answer, especially in the middle of a competitive season. What makes it even trickier is the emotional side. Sirianni is passionate, proud, and fiercely loyal to his methods, while Goddard is respected and beloved by teammates. This is not a clean professional disagreement. It's personal now. And when things get personal, logic often takes a back seat to emotion, setting the stage for unpredictable consequences that could define the rest of Philadelphia's season. As the days pass, it feels like the situation could go either way, a quiet reconciliation or an explosive ending. Optimists within the organization still believe cooler heads will prevail, that Sirianni and Goddard will eventually sit down, clear the air, and refocus on football. But the pessimists are less hopeful, warning that too much has been said, and too much pride is on the line. If Sirianni truly told the front office he doesn't want Goddard on the team anymore, that's not a comment easily walked back. It means he's drawn his line in the sand. The next few weeks will be crucial, both for the locker room and for the coach's credibility. If the Eagles keep winning, this story might fade into the background. But if they stumble, every dropped pass, every sideline glare, every offhand comment will be dissected as evidence of deeper dysfunction. Either way, this rumor, whether it's fully true or not, has already changed the atmosphere in Philadelphia. What happens next could either strengthen the team's bond or signal the beginning of a painful unraveling that fans won't forget anytime soon. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.